for a good probably 38 of those minutes. We played really smart. So we really put a lot of things together. I think credit to NC State. They did a great job on the offensive glass, really hitting the offensive glass. And then, in overtime, I thought where we were playing hard, we looked a little bit more gassed than they did in the sense of just not, making the shots that I thought we made throughout the course of the game. We kind of didn't knock those down, and then defensively just didn't seem to have enough in the tank to continue to finish like a block out to complete the play. But at the end of the day, I'm super proud of our team. And again, NC State's a really good program. Coach Moore has them moving and shaking, and they're a top team for a reason. But I hope this game gives us confidence to realize that we also can compete and be a top team in the country.
Coach, you talk about confidence. Some of you guys came out with a lot of energy. The building, a lot of noise in there. Was it just a matter of you just couldn't hold them off at the end because you got them in the overtime? You got them where you wanted them, probably.
Yeah, I think that, maybe where we sometimes feel like, hey, we're still that team that's building to be great. And when you have a close game or a game at the end and you get it into overtime, like you saw, our reaction to get the game into overtime was almost like we had won the game. And there's still 5 minutes left to play in the game. And I think that that's a team that maybe hasn't yet been there yet. And where we're playing a team like NC State who has a lot of experience in these not only tight games, but big high pressure games when it comes to nationally. So, I think they just played a little bit more poised, like the more mature we've been here before team. And we played a little bit like trying to catch up. Like I thought the first couple minutes of overtime looked great. But then I thought as soon as they just had us down by like 2, for us, we started to feel like I could see a little bit of panic on our players as opposed to continuing that confident feeling. And that's something that we'll grow from, and we haven't been in that position with the number, 5 team in the country before. So now we have, so maybe next time when we get there, we'll be able to overcome that little bit of that little bit of doubt in ourselves and just believe and do better and be more efficient.
So like you just said, Coach, this is a really unique situation for you guys. So with a loss, like as tough as this one, but against a team that's really good as this one, what do you think you and your team have learned going forward?
I think the big thing, and I hope they take this, like we say, like we talk about after a game like this, because they're upset. There's definitely in any, in basketball, in any sport, there's no moral victories. So this isn't one. I mean, we're all pretty sick over it. So the key is just to mourn the loss for tonight. Tomorrow, wake up, get our bodies back together. Recovery for the players that played, people that didn't play, get in the gym and get a nice workout in. And then what we need to now focus on is Pitt. Because right now we're at that cusp of the season where we have to take care of business for the rest of February. And it's vitally important that we take one game at a time. So this game's over. We're disappointed. They played a great game. We played a great game. It just didn't go our way. It's sad, but we can't think about it again. And I hope, though, at the end of the day, it gives us that confidence moving forward, that to know, all right, we got this. And that's what I told him. If we played that hard and that consciously smart on both ends of the floor against these upcoming opponents, we should be good. But that's going to ask a lot, because that's the players that played a lot in that game were definitely spent because they didn't just do it physically. They mentally had to think the game today.
Positive, though. Could you have a play work any better to get it to overtime? Seems like everything worked perfectly on that front.
Yeah, I mean, I credit to Ali Van Timmeren, getting open on that left side and putting it in. And I think that players, we always say plays don't make plays, players make plays. So in any type of game, no matter what us coaches call, it's still the players that have to execute. And I think that our players were excited to get into overtime. And I do think what this game does is it gives them that, I can't wait to be in that position again and step up and kind of redeem yourself. And that's what I like about it, because going into February in ACC conference play, like the tournament, you want players that are hungry for those close games and hungry to prove themselves in the win.
Would you say anything from the game plan that you planned for the game changed going into OT, or did it stay the same?
It stayed the same. I think that like Diamond Johnson played a heck of a game. And then, I thought every year Kayla Jones kind of kills us. And in this game, it was no different. Like, even though normally she always hits these big threes against us, but in this game where she wasn't hitting threes, she got 9 offensive boards. I mean, as a team, we only got 10 offensive boards. So I think their players made plays as well. And I think what we didn't change it, but what we didn't do a very good job of leading into that majority of second half and then the overtime was block. I think we had to block out, better. So if you give a great team like that more than one opportunity to score on you, more than likely they're going to take advantage of it.
Okay, Dan, Andy.
Coach, I just had a question about Kayla Ivey. She's been playing more and more down the stretch. Really big game today, 2 3-pointers in the third quarter. What have you seen from her progression and how has she earned more minutes in your rotation?
She's had a good couple of days of practice, but in my opinion, today was her best game in a BC uniform, hands down. I thought she played a spectacular game, poised. I mean, you see her stat line, didn't have turnovers, 2 steals, 2 assists, just really handled the pressure well. And, if I was going back and maybe making a change, I probably should have had her out there a little bit more in overtime, but because she hasn't been in many of those situations, I stuck with my older players. But boy, she really stepped up and gave us great minutes tonight. And that's exactly what you need from a young player at this point in the game, because now you start to feel like, all right, our program's in good hands moving forward, when players graduate. But it also is great to have a little bit bigger of a bench going into tournament time.
There's kind of 2 ancillary questions just on this. It felt like the crowd was really into it from start to finish. How did you guys kind of key in off of that and feel the energy of that, having the crowd out tonight?
The crowd was amazing. And, it's for me, I would, all of us, how great would it be? Like, what a great 6th man. Like, it truly is. Like, that is, when you have that kind of atmosphere, that is home court advantage. That's something that, like, NC State, they have that kind of crowd every game. So that they were used to it. That was nothing for them. They literally get, 7,000, 8,000 people at their games every night. So for us to have that, I was wondering how we would respond. And I thought our players stepped up and they really fed off that energy. I would love to get, I know the student body isn't listening to this press conference. I wish they were, but if they were, I'd tell them, please come back, because they made all the difference in the world in that game.
And then last, kind of on top of everything, I just want to make sure that I ask about, this is the second game where you guys wore the team wore the pink uniforms, and this was the pink game for K Yao. I know that's been an annual event. I know that's kind of a big thing with college basketball in general. But just to have you roll in it and play kind of an instant classic against NC State, just where does that kind of importance lie, being able to honor her as well?
Yeah, and I think, that's one of the things that the pink game for all of us, no matter what team you play for, we all know that it's a lot bigger than just basketball, right? And Kay Yao was an amazing advocate for awareness and kind of that, the kind of person that just motivates you, right? She was a motivational coach. And then through her battle, she was a very motivational in making people aware and then starting this Play for K. And I think that our players, I think they would have played hard whether we were in pink uniforms or not. But I think being able to do it and just kind of show that, we have that kind of heart. And I think that's at the end of the day for everybody that is battling cancer, has been through it. There's not a person, I don't think, on earth that isn't touched somehow by cancer. That's what you want to see, is the fighting people, right? The people that are surrounding people that are fighting. They got to have fight and they got to stay positive. And the people that are battling cancer got to stay positive and have that fight in them. If we can show that all the time, that's what we want. And I think it's also, we did a little video where our players kind of held up who they were playing for. And I think when you have that extra reason why you're playing, to remember what your why is, every one of them is, everyone on our team has been touched somehow. And when you have that extra, like Kay said, when you get kicked, make sure you get kicked forward. And I thought they did that very well.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.